Welcome to Let's Chat Live, where we interview new and upcoming podcasts about their shows, how they got started, and about their podcast a little bit. I am one of your hosts today, Bree Poe, and the Chris's, as we call them, Chris Ball and Chris Revel, weren't able to make it tonight. So we have a super awesome special guest who you might recognize from a previous show, Robert from Sci-Fi Remnants. Hey,
Thank you.
Rob.
Hello.
Thank you so much for hosting today with me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me over.
Absolutely. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about your podcast in case they missed the episode?
Yeah, we have a podcast, me and my co-host Jen Carlos, which he couldn't be here today. It's called Sci-Fi Remnant, and we talked about everything sci-fi and movies, TV shows, games, books, and everything. So if you like sci-fi, this is your place.
Yes, we do. And you guys do a great job hosting.
Thank you.
But tonight we have a really great guest that Chris Ball has been talking with, and they are Drea and Maggie from We Are the Worst podcast. Thank you, ladies, for being on tonight.
Hello.
Hi. And you
Welcome.
guys are in New Hampshire, close to Chris Ball. We were just talking. That's so exciting.
It's going to snow, which is what New Hampshire is known about. So,
Just all the snow. Is it snowing everywhere? Because it's going to snow in Virginia tomorrow too.
is it really?
So you guys are going to get hit first, and that storm's coming up to us. And last I looked, we're going to get it 6 inches.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what?
That's a
Just
lot
keep
of
it.
snow.
I'm
Okay.
glad I live here.
Right? All the schools are already canceled. They're like, we're not even going to try. Like, no buses are running. So,
It was 79 degrees this morning, so
Oh,
oh, my heat is on. I am freezing all the time. Oh my gosh. But you guys have a show called We Are the Worst. How did you come up with that name? Which
well,
one was it?
it's kind of like it's a combination of things. Because we loved to, before we started the podcast, we loved to just find random crazy stories, and share them with each other. So like the are telling that he has to offer. We also just call each other the worst regularly. So it kind of fit.
Awesome. How long have you guys been podcasting?
About 2 years now.
wow. Awesome.
Hopefully more than that. We keep coming up with grand old ideas of how we want to, just make this giant podcast studio with all these podcast shows in it because we're just so creative and we keep talking about it. But We Are the Worst. We keep stepping back and, kind of breathing life into it constantly.
Oh no. So you guys have like this whole vision board for the future?
I don't know if you want to call it a vision board, but
Chris Revel would.
We have another podcast idea where we've already recorded one episode. We just have yet to move forward with more episodes and social media and all that fun stuff that goes along with it.
Yeah, Rob, you have that issue, right? Are you the one that runs the social media for Sci-Fi Remnant?
Oh yes.
It's a lot.
It's a lot to do. Yeah, it's
There's
really
a
a lot.
podcast, recording, editing.
Yeah, and the thing is, you're trying to find that niche audience, and that, I guess that's what makes it harder. Is finding that group. At least for us, is that it's easily defined, but it's still hard. It's
Oh
really-
yeah.
That's Revel. He says hi, you guys.
Hi.
Hey, Revel. We missed you tonight. Hope you're feeling better. So how would you describe your show for someone who's never listened to it before? You said you talked about stories, like any particular stories or?
We started off true crime mostly, and then kind of veered off from that into the occult or weird history. Basically, if it is one of the worst stories you've ever heard, that true stories, we're probably going to cover it.
Wow. Do you guys do a lot of research then?
Oh gosh, yes. At least I feel like I do. Whenever I talk about my research, I'm like, oh, Maggie, I'm like 10 pages in. I've looked at several different things and I had to translate this one website. And she's constantly making fun of me, like, why are you translating websites for your research? But yeah, we do a lot of research just to make sure we're getting the best content out there.
And like the true content out there too, not the mishmash, like websites go one way or the other. So you're getting the facts out there. That's awesome. Do you find
Yeah.
that that's the most time consuming thing about your show?
Yeah, I
Is the
think
research?
the research, because we'll usually record once a week, and the bulk of the week would be reading the articles, finding everything, reading everything, and then compiling it into something that is digestible in like an hour-long format.
Oh my gosh.
And there's a
How do you
lot
do
of
that?
misinformation out there, like you were mentioning. Sometimes we have to fact check the actual website.
You
So
should have
that
your own
does take
Wikipedia,
time.
huh?
Yeah, right.
I was just going to say that because it's there's so much out there. You have to kind of sift and filter. That in itself becomes research on its own.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
trying to fact check, the information you need. Wow.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
It's a lot of work.
Do you guys split up duties? Like, how do you decide what you're going to cover? Who does like the social media? Who does the audio editing and graphic work?
So we have a Google spreadsheet that we each have our own list of topics on. And so for each episode, we each have our own topic. And the last few episodes we've done, instead of ending it kind of on a sad note, because we tend to get a little dark. And so we've been alternating. The person who ends the show has to do more of a lighthearted story. So still the worst, but like maybe everyone doesn't die.
That's good. Right? Happy thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we keep our lists up to date. So when we're choosing a topic, we make sure we look at the other person's list, so we're not overlapping.
Yeah.
But
So
mostly
does your-
Maggie does the editing. Like I just have to shout her out for that. That's all her. It's very rarely that I'm the one that does the editing because I'm just my humor's too dry, I feel like, and Maggie has like that nice special touch that she can pick out the funny jokes when I can't. So she does all the editing and we share the social media. As much as I'd like to say that I do something with it, it's mostly Maggie. I'm just here.
There's usually one.
My back is killing me from
I know.
carrying this podcast.
Mm.
Andrea. I feel like that's with like every show. There's always at least one that does the bulk of the work, but at the same time, it's just both like a passion project. So
Yeah.
you give equal amount to what you're
Yeah.
doing.
Usually when you have passion, you don't actually feel the weight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say Drea's stories are usually more or better researched than mine. So
Yeah.
we each have our strengths.
What are some of your favorite stories that you've done so far? Well, each of you.
Oh gosh. There's this website called Rejected Princesses.
Oh yes.
And it is all of these true history stories, but they are kind of broken down into almost comics where the guy that does them is really into female empowerment and like wishes that, his mother had known these stories, kind of thing, where there are these women throughout history who've faced adversity and really overcome it. And so a couple months ago, I did a story on Catullin, who I found out through Rejected Princesses. And she was a Mongolian princess who, instead of getting married to whoever her father chose, she challenged them to wrestling matches. And if they won the wrestling match, she would marry them. If they lost, she got all of their horses. And she,
Wow.
I guess, had like 10,000 horses by the time she ended up finally getting married.
It's a lot of horses. It's a smart woman. She knew what she was doing.
She really did.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a really fun one that I got to talk about. And I really love the female empowerment stories, which I don't always get to do because sometimes I have to be the worst person and tell the sad stories.
Which is funny because my favorite story is probably one of the sadder ones. So you always choose these really powerful stories, and I'm over here like cannibals. I love them. So
Yeah, your last episode with the cannibals, but it
Wow.
wasn't really a cannibal. So
yeah, well, I have like this weird fascination with it, and I try really hard to steer away, like Cult Week and that kind of stuff. But mine is episode 66. He snapped and he snacked. It's a guy very recently, last year in February, he was really stressed, was walking in a park. This person was speaking in English. This young lady was speaking English. I actually researched it a couple of weeks ago because I was curious to see if there was any updates. Still have no idea who this person is. But he was mad at her, murdered her, took her head home, and had her brains with some rice. Unfortunately, like, he died before we could bring him to trial. But we have no idea why. Like, that's the kind of, I like that stuff, which I probably should get into more female empowerment, Maggie.
it's fine. Rice is a good side. It's I wonder if he cooked it first, but
yes, yeah, it was in his pot. They found it, and then he like chucked the head out the window.
He's just asking to be caught.
I think I might have blocked that episode out.
That's fair.
Have you seen the movie The Platform that was on Netflix? It's about cannibalism a little bit. I think that you might be into it. I just
The Platform.
Yeah,
it's on my mental list now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's,
I'll watch it.
Guys, so you guys do a lot of you guys like know a lot of stuff about what you're talking about. Do you have backgrounds in history or English, or do you just do a lot of research?
I have American history, and I tried finishing a minor in art history, but honestly, it's just general curiosity for me.
Yeah.
I don't have, I mean, I just got my master's in public administration, so I did a lot of research in that. But that's kind of boring research. So I just like to spend a lot of time on Reddit, and I go down rabbit holes from there.
Oh my God, Reddit. That's like my husband. I don't know how to Reddit. Like, I tried, but I can't. I'm just reading Reddit. I'm like, I don't know what you just stay over there.
Maggie's the one that introduced me to Reddit like 7 years ago when we first met.
Probably.
Yeah. She's like, listen, you need this in your life. I was like, yes, I do.
Okay. Good advice from good people. How did you guys first meet?
We have a mutual friend who I went to high school with, Andrea went to college with, and I moved to the town that Andrea and our friend were living in. I had lived in Ukraine, and I came back to America, didn't have any friends, didn't know anybody in that town. And so our mutual friend made me go out with her every Friday night, which was terrible. I mean, I love
like 2 a.m. in the morning.
It was terrible.
I don't love going out. But so, and she dragged Drea along once, and kind of the rest was history. That was almost 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Aw. So you just like connected really nicely. So
She failed to mention that she was like, "You're my friend now, and this is how it's gonna work." And
Pretty much.
yeah, and I went with it because how can you say no?
right? Like you're my person now, okay?
Yeah.
Like this is it.
I choose you.
That's what happened to my best friend Nessa and I. We hated each other for like the longest time until I started dating my husband, and then yeah, she was just we just didn't get along. Like
It's fair.
whatsoever. It was horrible. And then later on I started dating one of our mutual friends, and then we just ended up being friends, and now we're like best friends. And she moved across country, but we talk every single day, a couple times a day. She's my person. And once you have a person, you just hold on to that person. Right, Rob? Is that for you and Giancarlo?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. We just click, you know. It's like I said, it's a yin and a yang, you know.
Yes. She's just that person. She completes me. It's cool.
It's like the hate to love trope that you read and, romance novels almost. Like, oh, we hate each other, but secretly we like
So
each
much in
other.
common.
Now
But we
we're
hate each
friends.
other. Is this okay? Like, you're actually not that bad. Okay. It was a nice transition. Oh my gosh. But yes. Wow. I'm so glad that you guys found each other and have your person, because you guys live in the same town right now, right? In New Hampshire?
Different towns, but we're like 10 miles away from each other.
Mm,
So close enough that it doesn't make much of a difference.
yeah. How has quarantine affected your lives and your podcast?
Podcast wise, I think it hurt it because on top of the pandemic, life happened and we had a hiatus for about 2 months. And we had to focus on our mental health, and we dropped off a little bit with recording. And so before we went on hiatus, we would do every other week as opposed to every week. Quarantine for my personal life, I'm just not allowed in my office anymore. Which is nice, but also not nice because sometimes I forget to shower.
It's not an everyday thing, and that's okay.
Yeah, I agree.
You don't have to shower every day. At least I don't think so, because I
It's
don't.
it's not good for your skin.
Thank you. Or
It's-
your hair.
Exactly.
Yes, I agree with that statement. I didn't agree with showering not every day. I have to shower every day, but I won't wash my hair.
My husband showers every day for like 30 minutes, and he's bald.
You're wasting water and you're hurting your skin.
You hear that, Rob? When you listen to this is about you right now.
Taking notes.
You too, Rob. Both of you. 30-minute shower. I don't understand that. Like, just get it, get out.
Do you guys record to get in the same place or remotely?
We usually do. Like Maggie was mentioning, the COVID really messed with our schedules. We've had a couple scares where we were exposed or we had to travel, because for my past job, I had to travel down south, which is very high, in the COVID area, I should say. Just trying to be nice about it.
And yet it's fine.
It's not. It was not. It was North Carolina. It was just like, it was too high for my liking. But we tried to be really safe about it, and we had a couple scares just based on like who lived with us. So sometimes we recorded together and sometimes we didn't. But in all honesty, we work better in person than we do over a computer. We try. We really do try, but it's easier, and we can get like our social cues easier when we see each other.
Yeah, I kind of get that because that's how we record, and it's just being able to, look at each other and just bounce ideas and just talk. And
Yeah.
it's just a lot better that way.
And Maggie and I can talk for hours, especially when we're together. So
It's like when you watch movies with Giancarlo Rob, you can like see his expressions as he's watching movies for the first time, and it's like, this part, let's pause it and talk about it.
Oh, you have to see him. And when we did, prior to doing the episode on Flash Gordon, I so enjoyed watching him watch this movie. It was just like, I thought I was going to lose him a couple of times.
Yes, Chad, it is not good to shower every day, and you do need moisturizer. Maybe we should do a poll, like, how often do you shower? And don't wash your hair every day. You're gonna dry out that scalp. Use some coconut oil. Do you have any tips or moisturizers that you guys use?
Mostly coconut oil. Sometimes I'll take a bath with coconut oil in it, and I'll just dump a
Yes.
bunch of honey in the bath water as well.
Oh, honey, I just use oatmeal and coconut oil sometimes. I didn't think about honey.
Oh, honey's nice. If you do a little bit of, not a lot, because it will irritate your skin depending on how sensitive it is. But if you mix a little bit of cinnamon with honey and spread that on your face, makes your skin so soft and wonderful. The cinnamon like exfoliates a little bit, and the honey moisturizes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
feel like we're
I'm a
baking.
disgusting hippie, so
I grow
I
my
can-
own food sometimes.
yeah,
in my
yeah.
If I could live just like on a farm and grow my
Oh.
vegetables and fruit, have a cow, I don't
Llama.
even drink milk.
Maggie and I talk about this all the time. We love cottagecore. We want to live in, where is it? Sweden? Not Sweden. Norway. Have a farm, have our own little cottages, have a llama, I don't know, some wool or something like that. That grows on sheep, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
That's our life.
That grows on sheep.
Yeah, I'll be packing my bags. I'll pack.
Join us.
Okay. I talk about it all the time. I love it.
We're starting a commune.
Thank you.
That's what it is. That's what it's going to
work all
be.
the time. I didn't want to say it, just judgment. It's just as a judgment-free zone here. Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm sorry, I won't join you. I need my Wi-Fi.
You don't want to be
That's
like on a commune.
You sound like my husband.
Oh, they get their separate column. You guys can stay there, and we'll enjoy our lives over
Do a
there.
salt line, and you guys can't come past. You have your little Wi-Fi in this like little area. That's all you get. Oh my god, that's my husband. He like hates the outside. He hates when it's hot. He hates bugs, and like I'm the total opposite. So like, you're just never going to go camping, are you, Robert? Bless his heart. So opposites.
I know what that means. I live down south. I know what "bless your heart" means. That's an insult.
Yes, it is. It's fine. He's fine. So Drea, since you're in cannibalism, Maggie, feel free to answer. If you had to eat a person, where would you start?
Oh, whoa. Okay. Well, let's see here.
Okay.
I think that I would start. I'm going to actually answer this. I would start with like, I don't know, the legs first, I guess.
And how would you prepare it?
Probably like on the grill.
Would you spice it up with, some sauce?
Yeah, like with some
Paprika,
chili sauce,
romaine.
Garlic, and just char it up.
Like jerky almost.
Almost, yeah. So you can't tell that it's a human foot. And then just you just eat it. Listen, if we were stranded at an island, you come to me, okay?
No,
I'll take care of everyone.
You'll take my leg is what you'll do. I'll not come to you.
Oh my gosh.
Just a
Very
disclaimer, yes, I like cannibalism, but no, I will never eat someone. Done.
I mean, you never say never. You don't know what you're gonna With
Oh, wow.
You too. Marinate, get a rub on there, throw it on the grill, she says.
Mhm.
And it's crispiness is important. I concur. Yeah. Maggie,
Yes,
you're
Maggie.
forced to eat somebody.
So I feel like it's bad that when you first asked that question, I immediately had an answer and I wanted to shout it out. I don't know what that says about me.
That you're the real cannibal?
I guess so. But like, the meaty part of the thigh right underneath of the ass.
Hmm. Oh,
That
yeah. It's useless anyway.
exactly. Like who uses that? What do you do with that? You eat it.
You eat
Oh,
it.
so you're going to keep the person alive, slice, and
Yeah.
then eat. Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
then they can heal up and you can
Mhm.
cut them open again.
Yeah. Drea, you're just going to, destroy the
I'm
person
taking
and
notes.
eat him? Or...
I see, Drea, this is why you're not a business person.
No.
Right. It's just like a one-time thing with you, Drea. Like, you need to be able to survive on this island where people come to you so you can eat their legs. The legs are it's pretty good.
Wow.
I don't have a method of cooking it though. Because I think as far as I go is to know what part of the body I would eat. I don't know that I can maybe roast it
Accuracy.
in the cast iron.
Get a little blackened on one side.
Mm-hmm. Get a nice crust.
Sear it.
Season it with a lot of salt. I feel like it's gonna be like kind of like pork.
Oof, pork. Yeah. Would you have sides or just eat it as is?
Oh, some nice balsamic carrots.
Oh,
So
ow.
roasted balsamic carrots and some Yorkshire puddings and some human gravy.
You got to have something to dip. In the South, we dip like everything. I'm looking at Stig. I'm looking at it with new eyes. Yeah. How would you prepare it? Thank you, Mom. Oh my God. Rob, if you were on an island, you were forced to eat somebody or die, what would you do? And how would you prepare your meal? It's not a tropical island, so you can't cut down trees and drink sap.
That is a very hard question.
Right?
It's the first time someone asked me that question. I'm stunned. I think I go with Maggie's. I think that makes a lot more sense to me.
No one wants it. It's like a chicken leg. You literally just cut the leg, you throw it on the Barbie, you call it good. Like, come on.
no. Like if we're gonna be stranded, and it sounds like since we're not on a tropical island, it sounds like a Donner Party situation. Like
Mhm.
we might as well enjoy ourselves and go gourmet. Get the fattiest bit and make it as fancy as you can.
But Maggie,
Yeah.
think about this. If you chop off the leg, they can't run away.
Are you going to be running away though if you have a chunk of your thigh cut out?
Probably not. You're right.
And would you be able to contribute to the community of cannibals if you aren't able to walk?
Oh, true. But then in that situation, you keep them in like a cage that's very small. It's like veal. You're like
Uh-huh.
making person veal. Oh my God, what is wrong with me?
So you guys work off each other? Inside, you're just like, you
The
like
deals
Drea
are just
because
going on.
she says things that you want to, but you don't want to. That's wonderful. Yeah, cannibalism is. When I see it in movies, I watched The Platform. Let me tell you, it was graphic, and I had to look away. I just couldn't do it. And I watched this one movie. Oh gosh, what's it called? It's The Green Inferno, all about cannibalism. I had no idea it was about cannibalism, and I watched it, and I had to fast forward through most of it because I couldn't stomach it.
That's
Surprise
probably me.
cannibalism.
It's just so terrible. So cannibalism's fun. So for future episodes, do you have a spreadsheet lined up or
Oh yeah. We are I would say on a consistent basis adding to our lists. Because Reddit doesn't go away.
Neither does
And
Ranker.
yeah, neither does Ranker or all of those other time wasters where you get to learn and be horrified. So things are just popping up from time to time, and I'll go into the spreadsheet and be like, ooh, I think I want to talk about Albert Fish, which we did. I did talk about Albert Fish, and that was terrible.
Hi, Steven. He's from Cyber Time Bite in Serpent's Pit. We did a show with him before. He is super cool. He's like a big fan. He's very active on Twitter. Oh, Serpent. Oh, where do you guys go for most of your information? Is it just Reddit and Rejected Princesses and Ranker? Do you have like specific go-tos for info?
Not really. If we're doing so for me, when I'm doing like a serial killer, I'll go to Murderpedia, which is great because it has just about every article ever written on specific murderers. Or just type in Google and I'll read through like the first 2 pages of hits on Google before I, compile my information and be like, okay, so this website said this, but these 3 websites said this other thing. So I'm going to go with these 3.
Wow. So do you keep track of like the ones that have the most accurate information?
I should. That's a great idea.
You should start a spreadsheet and start your own. We are the worst, best Googlers or something, something better than what I just said,
The spreadsheet podcast.
People love spreadsheets.
We're going to talk
Oh, yes.
formulas. We're going to talk Excel.
Love
We're going to
that.
talk data.
Ugh,
Yeah.
keep going.
Oh my gosh, that's like Defining Disney. Their podcast, they have spreadsheets and they are organized. So I don't know how they do it. I'm just in awe. So more power to your spreadsheets.
It's nice.
So-
I don't know what we would do without the spreadsheet because I can't. I don't know. I never remember what we'd name an episode. I'm like, that one we did 2 months ago where we talked about this guy and he did that thing. And Drea's like, those aren't words that make sense.
Rob, do you guys use a spreadsheet in your movie picking?
No, pretty much is just we watch a movie, we decide. I basically am the one who decides based on the reaction that I get from Giancarlo's. And also another determining factor is how many times we have to pause the movie to talk about. So if we take 4 hours to watch a 1 hour movie, then yeah, that's a winner. So we'll do an episode on it. And I do some research, but what you see, what you listen to on that podcast is basically a raw interaction, our based on topics that we already discussed when we watched the movie. So yeah, I do have a spreadsheet with some of the research that I do, but some of those research we don't even touch.
You do all that research?
Some we do, some we don't.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Let's see.
I have to ask, what is how do you come up with the idea for the podcast?
I mean, for
Like
me,
the creative process, like when you just what brought you to the realization, oh, we got to do a podcast on this.
I feel like for us and for me as well, when we watched a podcast live and we looked at each other and said, we need to do this. We need to get on this. And we had, I feel like months and months of discussion of what we wanted, what our topics were going to be, what we were interested in. Like Maggie and I went back and forth on titles and how we wanted to represent ourselves. We've been through 3 now different looks until we settled on what's behind me. And that was from Good Boy Designs. He really listened to our podcast and kind of brought this out. So we're kind of settling into all of our ideas that we've been discussing for months and months after we watched that podcast live. I mean, Maggie, do you agree with that?
Oh yeah. Also, I just really love attention, and so this is a great way to get attention from me.
Yeah.
So she's an introvert, extrovert, and I'm an introvert, and she gets all the stardom, and I'm kind of in the background, just, lifting her up, just
Making
putting
things
that crown, right on her head.
That's a really good dynamic. I'm sorry. Do you guys? Oh my God. So I listened to your episode on an Apple. So you guys have a YouTube that you guys do too, like with live videos, or do you just record audio?
We just record audio. We tried to have a YouTube, and we weren't filming ourselves. So the one video that we put on YouTube is just a loop of pictures related to the stories we were talking about. And I tried to do it for every episode, but after that first one, I was like, it's not happening. This is never going to happen again. I can't.
Yeah.
It's just too much work.
Oh, yeah. You can put your audio on YouTube. Oh my gosh. Yeah, because you have to do audio editing and then like cutting and
so it was the full audio so people could listen to it, but it was just the pictures we would use for social media streaming while the audio was going, like and it was just a lot of work for not a great product.
Yeah. Wow. As long as you.
And I'm getting scared because we're about to launch, hopefully by January, our video podcast, and guess who's going to be doing the editing? It's a lot of work.
Oh, I mean, it's easy and you'll love it. And there's programs out there that you can use, and just get Adobe. It's great. Was that convincing, Rob?
I think I'll use iMovie. It's easier.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was gonna say. Maybe. That's exciting. Chris Revel had Let's Chat podcast, and a couple months ago in like March, he asked me to come along, and together we just created a whole thing where we I did the website, and we had a social media plan. We were working on like sponsor letters and like keeping up with social media, bringing people on, taking people off, and designs and stuff. It's ridiculous. That's so much work, and I enjoy being in the background and being a Drea of the situation. And Chris Ball is really good at like on social media. Yeah, right. He's our outrovert, extrovert.
I'm
Like
the
Rebel
introvert
and
in my group.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my,
Giancarlo's
really?
he's the extrovert. I'm the introvert.
That's what makes a great couple, the extrovert and the introvert coming together.
Yeah.
I like it.
Unless you marry them and they like never say what's on their mind, Robert Benjamin. And then he finally does, and it's like, okay, you could just, coil that back a little bit, sir. Just kidding. I'm happily married for X amount of years. 8, I think. I don't remember. I don't remember dates. What are some things that you're excited about for the podcasting future for you guys?
Well, we actually are going to be part of a charity live stream on Saturday.
Oh,
We're very excited.
It's hosted by the Plunge podcast, and I think everything's going to the United Way. All the donations are going to United Way.
oh
I
my
could
gosh.
be misremembering. So Riley, if you are watching or hearing this, sorry. But we have an hour-long spot on Saturday at 11 a.m. and we'll be talking with the guys from the Plunge and doing a couple of stories. So we're really, really pretty pumped about that.
Oh my
Awesome.
gosh, this Saturday. That is so great. Do you guys listen to the Plunge, or are you guys involved with United Way, or how did that happen?
We went to a podcast meetup a year ago where we met the guys from the Plunge, and we've listened to each other's shows, and we've thrown each other support, and chatted on social media and whatnot. And then this year, this is their second year doing this 24-hour live stream for charity, and so they reached out to us and asked us to grab a spot on it.
Nice.
That's amazing. And the United Way has just done so much for like specifically our local community. Like it's covering rent for people that can't afford it during the pandemic and lost their jobs. Like they've give out so much like school supplies for kids, and it's just incredible. So my hat's off to you. That's y'all
Yes.
are wonderful. And you just send us a link and we'll promote it on our social media too.
Oh, awesome.
Oh yeah,
Happy to, and put it on our website.
awesome.
What is the scariest thing that you guys have ever seen that you guys haven't talked about yet?
I can take this one.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Maggie and I talk about it, but not on the podcast. I have this thing where if I'm half asleep, my mind likes to show demons to me. And like, what is it called, Mags? What's that called?
Sleep paralysis.
Yes. So I have sleep paralysis. That's the word I wanted. So I can see anything from last week, it was a Christmas tree. A couple weeks ago, it was a skull, clowns. So when I was younger, I assumed this was ghosts walking up the stairs or staring at me at the edge of my bed. And I don't talk about it very often in the podcast because I know it's me, it's sleep paralysis. But that's still it. I'm 33. It still scares me half to death whenever I see it. It doesn't even matter what it is.
Yeah, because you can't control it and you can't move, and it's just there, and you have no control of it. That's horrible. I knew one person with that, and they just explained it as just being terrified. I can't even imagine what that's like. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Sounds miserable.
Yeah.
I don't have that at all, and I'm very grateful that I don't. But I don't think I've ever talked about this on the podcast. I know I've talked about this guy that I dated on the podcast before, but in college, I dated this guy who practiced Santeria, and he was really big into like all of the spirits, and he had like a spirit that was his like I don't know, not spirit guide, because that's not appropriate, but he had like a patron saint or whatever. But it was his spirit guy. And then we're in the dorms one night, we were going to sleep, and I woke up in the middle of the night and I saw like this figure standing in the corner watching us. And it was the size of like a child. It was not, and we're all adults, we're in college. The size of a child standing in the corner watching us. And I woke him up and I was like, there's something there. And he was like, oh yeah, that's my spirit.
Oh my god! You
It
tell
was-
him to leave?
I was like,
How did he respond?
I was like, I can't, I have to go. He's like, no, just say it's fine. It's like a benevolent spirit. Like, it's not going to hurt you. And the next morning I woke up, I was like, there was someone in here last night. He's like, yeah, we talked about it.
Did we? Can we?
Yeah, can we
a
like
little bit more
revisit this?
details? I'm just not quite comfortable. You just talk about it, please. You're like Lincoln Park, y'all. Oh my god. Oh my god. And stuff like that is scary because it's very real. Like it's it's in your it's in your space and it's in your head space and you can't control it as some of the scariest things. I think. And people that are huh. What have I always say? It's the most unpredictable people are the scariest people for me. So
Mm.
like things that you can't control is and things you see or don't see like demons or whatever. Like I understand. Those are really terrifying.
Yeah.
Rob, do you have any scary stories that you would like to mention?
Well, the only thing that really impressed me was when I was really young, and this was a share experience. So, me and my brother, my middle brother, were at the time, I think I was maybe 10. We're sleeping in our room, and it's the first and only time, and I should say the first and last time that this happened. We both woke up. We could turn our heads, but we can't move our bodies. So we looked at each other and we're both awake. And we look at the wall that was right in front of us. And the wall split in half. And you see this bright light coming from it looks like a door was opening and it was illuminating the entire room. And there was a hooded figure that looks like death coming through there. And I couldn't scream, but we could look at each other. I was looking at my brother and his face of panic. I'm panicking myself. Um, the hooded figure just looked around and then back out into the light, and the door closed, and that's it. And that was frightening.
That is really scary.
Just thinking about it right now, and I'm 50 years old, and it gets me a little.
Does your brother bring it up at all?
Yeah, we talked about it from time to time.
Oh my god, that's a shared experience. That is intense.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I am so glad it was the last time.
Yeah, like has it ever happened again? Like did a priest come and bless your house? That happens in the South.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah. That's fun and that just makes good stories and it's terrifying. But it's real and it's real for you and it's real for each one of you and telling these stories is great because other people can feel free to talk about their experiences too and know that it is real and they're not crazy and they're not, just that they feel validated in some sense. So thank you guys for sharing. So right now you guys are on Instagram. Do you have plans to expand to different social media platforms? Okay.
Well, I am trying to start a Tumblr for us just because of the, we delve into a little bit of the witchy side and also the ghost stories and that kind of thing. I feel like that might appeal to Tumblr. And I just started it right before the pandemic hit. And unfortunately, posts are really hard to make when you're stuck at home in quarantine. So hoping to pick that back up in January, but that's it for me. And I think it's just Instagram and Facebook, right, Meg?
Yeah. Instagram and Facebook is really where we're the most comfortable, I would say. Sort of. I'm not a social media person.
Just so funny because we're doing this and we need to be.
Get it out there.
Yeah.
I believe me, I understand that. I got thrusted into this thing, and I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm
As
I'm
long as you're having
trying.
fun. Yeah.
Social media is hard because there's a lot of different podcasts out there, and you're like, what group am I going to cater to and stuff. And I've always said this: there's not enough podcasts out there. Like there are so many people out there that listen to multiple podcasts. So I am always happy to interview an upcoming podcast because I want to hear their stories, their perspectives. Like Rob and Giancarlo can watch a movie and um, the Serpent's Breakdown can watch another movie, but they'll have totally different perspectives. And it's like, oh, I didn't think about that. That's cool. So that's
I
exciting.
mean, a perfect example is the Geek Cave. They did the podcast on Flash Gordon. I have never done an episode on it. It's one of my favorite movies, and I invited him over, so we had a shared episode. So you listen to them and you listen to us, and it's complete different experiences on the same topic. You know.
Yeah. It's also like how you grew up and like your background, your interests and stuff. I don't think I've ever used Tumblr. Is that for pictures or is
It's
it's not, is it?
kind of like whatever you feel like with hashtags. Think of it as the e-girl version of Facebook.
That's pretty fancy.
Yeah.
I think I still have one. I couldn't tell you the last time I posted into it.
Oh my gosh. I hope the Chris's aren't listening because I'm not going to take that on, guys. No, right? Yeah. We're going to hire you to be our Tumblr in this craziness.
Well, Neil Gaiman and Taylor Swift and all those people are on it too because they fans are doing and what they're putting out there, post or fan art or whatever it may be. So it's kind of like this nice hidden gem for people, especially if you could cater
Yeah.
to it. So I'm not saying do it, but I'm also saying it's untapped for podcasts for sure.
Yeah. So it's kind of like deviant art almost, where people just
Yes.
upload their art and stuff, but for
Yeah.
other
Everything.
fun
Wow,
stuff.
I remember that.
See,
I
I
haven't
don't,
used it in a long time.
right? Like,
Yeah.
I used to have friends that do art on it, but I have absolutely no art talent. Like, I can't even draw a stick figure. It's sad. Just kidding. So more power to you. You just, we would love to help you guys get known and um, do some shout outs, especially about the charity live stream this weekend. That's really exciting. Do you guys have to like prepare yourselves for it? Where is it going to be broadcasted?
It's going to be Londonderry. Is that where we're going?
Where we were last time, yeah.
Yeah. So there's
Coworks.
yeah, it's one of those one of those companies that does the like office space for rent. And they have like a little podcast studio in there. So we're going to be live streaming from this place that has the office space for rent with the podcast studio. And I think the local news channel might also be covering it.
Yeah.
If, there's no other big news.
I mean, and that's no, so you might get outdone by that.
Hopefully by Saturday.
I'm gonna it is the Plunging for a Cause is what it's called.
Ow.
And we're gonna be live podcast recordings of the plunge, waking up from work podcast, Plungeons and Dragons, Royal Mumble, Spot the Lie, the Inner Circle Sports Podcast, Sustain a Bro, No Offense Show, We Are the Worst, hashtag SAMPC, Shit Happens When You Party Naked. We've met those guys. They're hilarious.
They are.
Creatures of the Night, Justified, and We Need to Talk.
Ooh, no. Whenever people say we need to talk,
No,
you're in trouble.
Oh no, not
Or
with these
with
guys.
oof.
Oh yeah, with the hosts of We Need to Talk, they're great. We got to do a couple episodes with them before the pandemic. So, in
Yeah.
the before times. Uh and that was
BC before COVID.
yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, and they're super fun. They just chat about random stuff.
That's what there is to talk about lately. Just to make yourself happy. I'm glad you guys end your podcast on like a fun, happy note. That's some people do jokes, or I mean, at least on a note where not everyone dies. I guess
Yeah,
that's a
so
good method.
yeah, because we each do a story, and sometimes we don't know what the other person's going to be talking about. And so there have been episodes where we just get really dark because we both picked something really dark. Like I picked one about a kidnapping where it goes wrong. Andrea picked something where like the serial killer killed 47 people. And at the end of the show, neither of us feel great.
Yeah. No. Just need a little uplifting before you go out into the world, so you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can come back and be like, we can't do We're the Worst. They're just such downers, just
Yeah.
Debbie Downers.
And it's a lot easier to make jokes about stories where everyone doesn't die.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as long as it happened a long time ago, like sometimes it might be like, oh, that's too soon.
Oh, right. Well, the stories in like 1777 where everyone dies, we can make jokes about that all day long.
We love plagued ones. Those are the best.
Or like the mafia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he snapped and he snacked. That's not good joke material.
I don't
was at
know.
the
That's a pretty
time.
good title. Where do you guys come up with these titles? You're like the dumbfound dead guys. They have like the craziest show titles.
Oh, they're actual words that we say in the podcast.
So do you do the show first and then name it, or like do you record first?
Yeah. And then while I'm editing, I'm listening for the things that we say and I make a list and I send them to Drea and say, what do you like on this list? And she will pick the most ridiculous one.
Snapped and he
As
snapped.
always.
Oh my god. We appreciate you guys coming on so much. I've learned a lot today. Snapped and snacked. I'm just oh my god. This is new. We haven't really interviewed a lot of true crime shows. Like I think that maybe you guys are one of our first ones. So congratulations.
Oh, exciting. We win.
You do. You do win this the true crime race. So it's exciting. Do you want to give a shout out about where we listeners can find you?
Yes, so we are on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, just about anywhere that podcasts are available. You can also find us now on Facebook and on Instagram. And our email address is wehavebeentheworst@gmail.com.
Past tense.
It's like I'm the worst at Gmail. That's amazing. Yes, it is amazing. Rob, would you like to shout out your show?
Yeah, we're basically everywhere. We chat. We have a Discord channel, and we are at on Twitter at Sci-Fi Remnant. But we're basically everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We recently got onto Audible, So if that's your cup of tea, you can find us there too.
Yeah. I was just thinking about tea and like when you guys are eating your legs, like how you gonna drink that? Like what are you gonna wash it down with? Alcohol,
Bourbon.
right?
Bourbon.
Yeah.
Alcohol?
Okay.
Yeah,
Bourbon.
that's mine.
Exactly.
Very
Bourbon.
nice glass as well.
Mm.
Wow. Yeah. Again, thank you so much, Rob from Sci-Fi Remnant. I'm sorry Giancarlo wasn't able to come today. He would have been so excited to meet you guys.
Yes. Yes. This is his. Yeah. This is him.
His jam.
This is his jam.
This is tea jam. Sandwich. Leg sandwich. And for the Chris Ball and Chris Rebel, we missed you so much. And you can find our show on Twitter at Let's Chat Live or let'schatpodcast.com. And again, we are the worst in Sci-Fi Remnant. Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Everyone.
Bye.